Hello everyone, and welcome back to Studio Talks with the Influential Petite. I'm your host, Shadana Miranda, of course, and we are jumping back into the Smart Goals series. Now, last week we talked about how you can be specific with your goals, and the week before that we talked about why you need to include the Smart Goals series in your personal life, in your finances, in your business, etc. So before you watch this episode, if you haven't seen the previous two episodes, I would suggest you go back and watch those first and then catch up with this one. Got it? Good. So today we are talking about how you can measure your goals. When we set goals, we know the importance of setting goals, but in order to really implement those goals and put them in place, we need to make sure that they're measurable. Because when your goals are measurable, they're achievable and they're attainable. And that's what you want when you are goal setting. So let's jump in and talk about how you can measure your goals. Step one, I would start off with a timeline. Like, give yourself a specific date as to when you want to accomplish this goal. I highly suggest 90 days because 90 days is one of those benchmark periods where you can actually see yourself growing and making progress. However, you can do a date shorter than 90 days. You can actually do 30 days. But however, I would suggest 90 days and then 120 days. But let's talk about like how you can do this. Let's say if you do like a 30-day goal, you have to break it down and be very specific. Say for instance, you're studying for a wine test and you want to make sure you pass that test, and the test is 30 days from the time you need to take it. So don't say, oh, I'm gonna study for my wine test on Friday and I'm gonna be able to pass it, or I'm gonna study for my wine test 2 weeks before it is and I know I can pass it. No, what you want to do is you want to be specific and say, I'm gonna study for my wine test 2 days out of the week for the next 4 weeks, and then 1 day out of the week, every week I'm going to get a tutor. So that's 3 days out of the week I'm going to be preparing for my wine test for a whole month. So if you be specific like that in measuring your goals, you're more likely to pass that test. Another example I would give, if you are trying to increase sales in your business. Now, say for instance, you set a 90-day goal and you want to increase sales, and you currently are making roughly $5,000 a month in sales, but you want to increase that goal by 20%. Now, 20% of $5,000, that's an extra $1,000. So that's achievable and that's attainable. That's something that I mentioned early on. You want to make sure your goals is achievable and attainable. I'm not saying don't increase your goals by 50% and say, hey, I want to increase my $5,000 in sales by 50%. That's doubling it to $10,000. I'm not saying that you can't get there, but definitely start off small, because when you have these expectations, you don't want to set your expectations too high, and then when you don't achieve them, you're disappointed. So back to the emphasis on your business. You set a goal at increasing your sales of $5,000 to an additional 20% a month, which is $1,000. So what you would do is you will write out how you're going to get that additional $1,000 a month, which is going to be $6,000 a month, from $5,000 to $6,000. So $5,000 roughly a month. If you divide that into 30 days, that's about $166 if I'm not mistaken. I'm not a mathematician, but I'm thinking that's about $166 a day. So if you increase that by 20%, that's about $199, let's say $200 a day. And so you need to see how you're going to get an additional $200 a day on top of what you're already making. That's achievable. So what you would do is you have 30 days to achieve this goal. So you would say, for the first 4 weeks, I'm going to do email marketing. So I'm going to email everyone on my contact list, or you're going to strategize how you can get more people to sign up for your emailing list and run an email marketing campaign. The next month, for 4 weeks, you may run ads on social media. So for the second 30 days, you may say, I want to run promotional ads on Instagram. So that's another way to drive traffic to your site. And then the last 30 days, you may say, I want to check out Facebook ads. I want to run 30 days of Facebook ads. So you have to actually put into practice how you are going to increase these sales. You have to put a marketing plan in place that you are going to do and be consistent with on a daily basis. And you have to put a time limit on it. And always put a specific date on it. So say for instance, if it's the beginning of the year, you say it's January 1st and I want to increase my sales by 20% by March 1st. So January through March, that's a 90-day period. So you're going to do your email marketing campaign for the month of January, an entire 4-week email marketing campaign. So put into practice how you're going to do that. And then in February, you're going to do your social media campaign. That's maybe your Instagram ads. And then in March, you can run your Facebook ads. But in March, you want to put an end date as to when you're going to stop. And that can be March 31st. So you started on January 31st, and then you stopped on March 31st. That's a 90-day campaign that you ran to increase sales in your business, to drive traffic to your website, to maybe get you more social media followers, etc., etc. And so when that 90-day benchmark come up, you look and see if you've been getting more traffic to your website. You look and see if you've been making more money in your business. So have you gone from making $150 a day or $166, a day, to making that $200 or maybe that $250? It's a possibility that you might be shy of about $500. You have $5,000 and you want to increase it to $6,000, but only you've made $5,500 for those next 3 months every month. One thing I will say is, if you don't 100% reach your benchmark or your goal, don't beat yourself up. You're still good. The goal is to at least increase it by the minimum of what you're trying to get to, or at least half of that. So $5,500 out of $6,000, that's still good. At least you've done something, and if you've made $500 more than what you were making, if that makes sense. So one thing I want to stress in this is to celebrate your small wins. Sometimes when you set out goals, you don't always accomplish those goals to its entirety and 100%. And that is completely normal, because sometimes we search for perfection. We search for that instant gratification, like, why isn't it happening? And that can just really bring you down. So don't do that. Celebrate your small wins. Be appreciative of the goals you've set and the accomplishments that you have made in those 30 days, or those 60 days, or those 90 days. So I hope this helps. So if you haven't gotten anything out of this, put a date on your goals. Set a timeline. I always say start off with 3 months. Start off with 3 months, and then you can increase it to 6 months, and then you can also do your yearly goals. But make sure you put a date on it, a date when you're gonna start. I'm gonna start in January 1st, and then I'm gonna track January 1st to March 31st. And look at those little small wins that you've accomplished, those baby steps, to see how far you have come. Because honestly, it all paid off. If you didn't set those benchmarks of 30, 60, 90 days, you wouldn't be increasing things in your life. You wouldn't be productive. You wouldn't be growing in personal finances, business. So that's why being specific and being measurable in your goals is so important. So I hope this episode helped you out. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment in the comment box below. I am here for you. And thank you for watching. Always, I'm grateful for you tuning in. So make sure you come back for another episode with the Influential Petite. So stick with me, because I will get you where you need to be. And this is Studio Talks with Shadana Miranda. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.